I just figured you guys didn't want to talk to me. I'm sure there's nothing you guys want to talk about. I'm sure you have zero questions to ask me.
We're trying to save you from BJ, Tim. So
yeah, I figured.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's go. Ron, BJ, Jay for Tim.
Tim, how's it going today?
What's up, Ron?
So, Tim, again, the third quarter kind of came back to bite you guys again this week. I mean, just talking about in-game adjustments, first of all, as a coach, how long does it take to kind of get that down and understand the importance of making those in-game adjustments?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a trend there after 3 games. And we're not going to run from that. The numbers are what they are. They're not good. So I think when you look at the adjustments, I think the UCF game and this recent game are the ones you can focus on the most. And I think both games can look very similar, but I would say they're very drastically different in how those issues came apart, in the sense that the UCF game, we did kind of go away from our plan like we had talked about, and that got us in trouble. Where this game, we kind of stayed with what was working, but there was just a lack of execution there. And I think that lack of execution comes from the communication from the staff to the players, and it's always going to start with us, and it's going to start with me, and that's where the buck stops. So I just got to do a better job of communicating with our staff and our players and what we need to get done in the third quarter, and just got to get off to the same start and have the same mindset and the urgency that we've had in the first half, where we've started off, I think, every game pretty well. We just got to find that consistency for 4 quarters so we can figure out a way to pull that one out.
And looking at Hank, I mean, he had pretty good numbers. He had the late pick. How would you grade his performance?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. It's just, the interception, that's a tough one. I think, the third quarter was an interesting situation, because I think we didn't get out there till, 7 minutes maybe left in the quarter. So you are sitting around for a while, and then all of a sudden you have 1 3 and out, and quarter's almost over, So I think there was definitely some anxiety coming in there from everyone, like, oh shoot, we got to get going. And in that particular play that we had, you guys had probably seen, we sprinted out the first play of the game. I think we sprinted out the 20th play of the game. And so we were trying to set up the sprint out and throw back. And he probably just wanted to make a play so bad, he just forced it a little bit. And that's going to happen to the best of us. But, we took some sacks I thought that we didn't need to take, probably more than we had the first 2 games. But other than that, he was very accurate again, made some big time audibles at the line of scrimmage, got us into some good plays, made some tough, he took a lot of hits. I thought he played pretty well.
You mentioned that he never really ran an RPO offense before this year. Especially for a guy that spent his high school career in a wide open spread attack. How much of a learning curve is there?
It's a big one. I think the whole offense, there's a learning curve there. And I know people would love to see that end in victories, and no one would want to see that more than us. And by no means is that an excuse, but every single game, those guys are going to learn a lot about what we're trying to do offensively, and our staff's still learning a lot about what we're trying to do there, because it is new. And there's some bumps there along that road, but, we're going to climb that mountain together. I think the adversity that we're facing right now is going to make us a better team, a stronger unit going forward, and hopefully that leads to more victories.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ron.
How are we doing, Tim?
Oh, God. Get up. I thought you were going to have a broom, and I thought you were going to have a broom in your hand.
I got one around here somewhere.
Yeah.
What with the running game, how I know I ask about it every week, but I guess you look at the guys you have as running backs and you look at the line that you have, 2 all-league guys. How surprised are you that it hasn't been as good, nearly as good as you would have hoped it would be? Yeah, it's probably definitely disappointing. Wish I had a lot of answers for you guys on that, other than it's just, us being consistent. I did think we got off to a good start there. I think at halftime we probably had, if you take away the sack, I think we had 70 yards rushing, in the first half. And so we were off to a better start. And I thought we were mixing it up really well and getting some good runs. And we just lack the consistency right now to continue to get enough explosive runs and enough consistency to get positive runs. And it falls on all of us. But again, that I'll be the first one to always tell you guys, we have a tough game. Don't look anywhere past me. I got to be better. I got to do a better job getting our guys ready to roll. And I do think it's going to come. I'm a believer in it. Hopefully everyone's not jumping off the ship. I do believe that running game is going to come. We have talent, like you said. I believe in the guys and what we're doing. I believe in the staff. We just got to stick with it. It's going to come. I know it's going to burst. Where is CT Thomas, and why has he not been a bigger part of this offense?
I think there's a lot of guys on the offense that we want to get the ball to. I'm the first guy at the end of every game to look down there and see who had as many catches, because I'd love everyone to touch the ball a couple times. And we had a couple things called in the game that were going to CT, and one of them was an RPO that the DN got loose on and kind of crushed Hank in the first drive. And then we had an empty play that was going to him where there was some miscommunication on a route. And I just think it's been one of those things where it just hasn't all come together yet for him. It's definitely not by design that he's not getting the ball. It's something we're working on, finding different packages to get him involved, because we do care a lot about him, and he is a good player, and we need to find ways. But we got a lot of good players, BJ. I think that's the hard part is, man, the first two games, Davis Cutter didn't have one catch, right? And then he gets a couple catches this game. Billy Bowens finally got a couple catches. Latrell Capel's got a catch in this game. I mean, we got a lot of talented guys. I know someone asked a question about the tight ends last week. We're trying to get them the ball. There's a lot of dudes we're trying to get the ball to. And it's not by design if a guy doesn't get the ball. Hopefully, if everyone does their job correctly, the ball will find you. The football gods will reward you for the effort that you put in. Final one for me. I wanted to ask about Cutter. Obviously, he gets out there and has the first start and scores a touchdown, and could have had another one he was open on. How quickly is he moving up the depth chart? He's always been a guy that we have a lot of faith in. He is a huge contributor on special teams. I'm not sure if everyone knows that, but he's a captain of one of the special teams units, and is heavily – when he caught that touchdown, everyone was trying to celebrate with him, and he was like pushing everybody on the way so he could go get on the kickoff team. So I think we've always known about his ability and his football mind, his acumen. He can play all three positions. And again, the first two games he was in there, the ball just didn't find him. But with Steph being down, we knew he might get a couple more shots. So we were thrilled to see him get his touchdown. I'm sure he'll get many more. He's a great player and a really good kid. Appreciate it, Tim. Thanks. Thanks, BJ.
Tim, we're to talk about the running game. We've obviously saw, we can go back and we can look at the numbers that your running backs put up at UC Davis, and they were impressive. But what is your vision of what your running back can contribute to this offense? Like, is there a metric or something that we can judge, a successful day by your running back off of, or a vision?
Yeah, I think if you look at the previous years, the guys we had normally caught the ball quite a bit. I don't know exactly, but I think the last year there, our running back caught 54 passes or something like that. They're going to catch the ball quite a bit. And then, we have had a guy at 1,000 or right around 1,000 every year, and usually close to, 2,500, 3,000 yards, somewhere around there too, as a unit. And it just hasn't got off to a good start, Jay. And we know that we're not going to run from it. It's not consistent enough. I understand the legacy here of running the football and having 1,000-yard tailbacks. And man, no one gets that more than me, and no one wants it more than me. And we're looking for ways to help our guys up front be successful. We're looking for ways for it to be consistent. And, we're just going to keep working on it. It's going to start with us as a coaching staff, making sure we're consistent with our approach. And again, I thought we got off to a better start this game. I think the lack of opportunities plus our lack of stability there in the third quarter made us get to the fourth quarter where it was like, man, we gotta kind of roll now. So maybe there's going to be less running going. So some of it was a little bit of that, but no one wants it to work more than me, Jay. We're going to work really hard to get it going for sure.
You brought up the fact that, you didn't possess the ball until over midway through the third quarter, and then you go 3 and out and you're done. I mean, there was about 20 game minutes where I think you ran, I can't remember if it was 5 or 8 plays, but somewhere in that range of game minutes. Does that force you to call, like when you finally do get on the field, to call a game different? Because at that point in time, a first down, it almost seems as critical as a touchdown.
I think that you don't call the game differently, but what happens naturally is tension and anxiety mounts, right? It's like, how many more opportunities are we going to get here? We had the fumble going in right before the half, which was just a momentum drain. It sucked the life kind of out of us a little bit. And then that was our last play for however many time that was, 2 minutes left in the first half to 7 minutes in the third quarter. So that was a long time to sit and think about that fumble and think about, what we had done as an offense. And you have that first 3 and out, and then it's like you have another drive where I think we dropped a pass and, so it just kind of the anxiety starts to mount. It's like, oh shoot, we got to get going, and then, we got off to a good start the next 2 drives kind of in our own end and had something snag us along the way. So I know I didn't call the game any differently. I'm very confident in saying that in the third and fourth quarter versus what we did in the first half. I just think there was, again, just some anxiety, communication that we can do a better job of as an offensive staff relating to our players and making sure they feel confident, because they should feel confident, because we've shown we can move the ball on anybody.
I know that the last one for me, and I know that you probably have to answer this one somewhat delicately, but 3 games in, like, what do you feel like you do well? Is there something that you feel like this can get us jump started or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we're pretty consistent in how we throw the football. I mean, I think we're, completing close to 70% of our passes and, probably close to 300 yards a game, I would imagine, or 270 plus or something like that. But I think we throw the football as well as anyone if we really wanted to get that going. But I think we want to be a balanced offense. And, so we got to find a way to do it where we're not throwing the ball 50, 60 times, because that's not going to be championship football. We all know that. And so I do think we throw the football well. I do think when we're in tempo and we get going, I think we're as good as anybody. Right now, our issues are starting the drives, getting that first down. And once we get that first down, usually we get rolling and we're pretty successful. And then, like we've said, we got to be consistent in that third quarter. The numbers bear out. The third quarter's been awful, and we're not going to shy away from that. We just got to get that fixed. We will get it fixed. I think the guys are all in it together, and we're going to do it as a unit. So I'm looking forward to this week and this challenge.
281 through the air. Thanks, Tim.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for the number, too. Dang it. I was close.
Go ball game, Will and Prater.
Coach, I saw that you ran the ball 24 times, backs and receivers. Kalani got 12 of those, so half of the touches. Was that by design? And I've heard running backs say, they want to get a feel for it, especially coming back from an injury. Just want to get those reps. Was that enough in hindsight, 12?
I think we would like George to touch the ball more than that for sure, John, without question. I do think that there were times in the game where, again, when you haven't played for a while, where, he got a little winded. And so we're in the middle of those drives and he gets subbed out just because he's gassed. And so we get another guy in and they end up getting the carry just because he can't go 5, 6, 7, 8 plays and do a drive that way. But he's an important guy. We definitely need to get him the ball more touches. I think he did catch a couple passes, which was good in the flat there. But yeah, we'd like to get those touches closer to 20 total if we could for him in a full game. And that's definitely a focus going forward, is how important he is to our offense and get him started. And again, I think some of the lack of touches, John, just probably goes back to the fact that we only ran 5 plays, whatever it was, in the third quarter. I think in the first half we ran, again, maybe I need to ask Jay, but I think we ran 45 plays or something in the first half. And then we only run 5 in the third quarter. That's a huge difference. I mean, that's a huge difference of plays and opportunities that we miss out because of our 2, 3 and outs. And we just need to make sure we stay on the field longer so we have more plays so that we can give guys more opportunities.
That's it for me. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, John.
Hey, Tim, you look at Utah State's defense. What stands out to you?
Sorry, Will, you broke up. Are you saying what stands out about the Utah State defense?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
no problem. Yep. Yeah, they're an aggressive group for sure. Very talented in the front, a lot of speed. Probably in all 3 levels, one of the faster defenses we've seen on film, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. Got a couple of really talented players, so they're gonna pose a tough situation for sure.
Their linebacker, number 3, Justin Rice. Anything stand out to you about him?
Great player. I mean, really talented guy. Does kind of everything you want the linebacker to do. He's a great blitzer. He's great in the run game. I think he's got a couple interceptions. Really confident guy. Definitely a standout player for them for sure.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Will.
Hey, Tim, between you and Andy, you guys have both mentioned the word consistent several times today. And you're talking about things that we know what you're talking about. But if you're putting together a priority list, where do you need to be more consistent? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe it's not that clean, but specifically, what part of this football team do you need to be more consistent?
Well, I think you always look at 3 areas, Mike, on whether it's offense, defense, special teams. And the first part is the pre-snap, right? Like, can we be more consistent in getting aligned quickly into our tempo so that teams can't get set defensively? Because that's a big part of what we're trying to achieve offensively, is beat them to the line of scrimmage so that they're not ready, and then we snap the football. The second part is just our execution, right? Like, offensive football is execution assignment football, right? We need 11 guys to execute their assignment correctly. And I mean, if we could sit down and go through the game play by play and we could talk through it, you would see, like, you'll run a play in the first quarter, execute it properly. You'll run the same exact play in the third quarter and not execute it properly, right? And so where is that coming from? That's what we're going to solve, and we will solve it, Mike, and get that fixed, and that'll help us be more consistent in our execution. And then the last part is just how we finish plays, right? How we finish that rep and get on to the next rep, whether that's the tempo that we get the ball to the ref, or how we get to the line of scrimmage on the next play, or how we finish our block and how we finish our run with ball security. I just think those 3 levels, if we can get those more consistent, I think we'll see not only success in the first half like we've had, but we'll see success through the entirety of the game, which is what we're after.
Ask Andy about the physicality of the offensive line. And from my perspective, it doesn't look like it's there. Maybe inconsistent when it comes to pass protection, because there seems like pass protection has been pretty solid at times. The physical dominating run blocking. Do you feel like it's there? And if it's not there, how do you coach that? How do you get better at being physical?
Well, I do think it's there, Mike, in glimpses. Like, I do think it's there in separate times. And if you go through the film again and see it, you'll see some great clips in that game of we had a run where OJ and Garrett just double teamed a guy in an inside zone down near the end zone, and Andrew Van Buren had like a 6-yard run. And, we had another one on the backside where Ben Dooley and Stets were getting after a guy and getting some serious movement. That's a good defense too. I mean, they stop pretty much everyone they go against, and those guys are moving them. But when you're not doing it consistently, Mike, it goes back to their fundamentals and technique more than anything. Like, how do you become physical? Well, number one, you got to be confident. And to be confident, you have to develop your fundamentals and techniques that you feel confident every play that you can be physical. It's not just how strong you are, how much you push a guy off the ball. It's the technique and fundamental in which you approach it. And so if we're inconsistent in our movement up front, it falls back to our fundamentals and techniques. And that comes back to our confidence and our guys having good eyes and getting off the ball the right way. And again, I think there are some all league guys up front there. Like we've mentioned, there are some guys that have played a lot of ball. And again, it might come back to just, they want to do it so bad, Mike, that they want to do it so well. And so many people talk about the run game and how we got to get it going, that probably builds some anxiety there. Like, man, we got to get this rocking. We got to get this hitting. And maybe they're trying a little too hard. There could be a little bit of that too. It's there though. Like, we have the ability to do it. We have the people to do it. It starts with me. I gotta make sure we're putting the guys in the right place to be consistent so that our guys can be confident and we can run the ball consistently for an entirety of a game. And we will do that, Mike. We'll get it figured out.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mike.
Tim, we appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.